Bit of a treat this afternoon. Spoke to the boys from Brew York and they've invited me over to check out the brewery. Well, no thanks to Google Maps, I made it. I'm bloody thirsty, so let's get inside and check it out. So I've got with me here Wayne Smith, co-owner of Brew York, who has kindly allowed me into the brewery this afternoon. They've got a beer festival happening here this weekend, so they're very busy racing around, but he's grabbed me a beer and given me 5 minutes to sit down and have a bit of a chat about all things craft beer. So thanks very much, Wayne.
You're welcome.
Good on you. Mate, look, what inspired you to get started in the craft brew industry?
A few different things. There's lots going on in the UK scene, but also we had a quick chat earlier and I was telling you about one of the big inspirations for the place itself, our brewery tap house, is was Little Creatures from Fremantle.
Nice.
Spent a couple of weeks there on holiday and spent pretty much every day in the tap room at some point or the other, or in one of the buildings surrounding it, one of the bars nearby. So it's pretty inspirational. It's a pretty interesting place. More the fact that it's such a good vibe and it's family friendly. So people tended to go. Well, it felt like everyone went there to socialise, not just drink beer, which is a good thing, but also to go down and meet up with your friends and stuff. So
yeah, it's a ripping place. Like I totally agree with you. But having said that, I love what you've done here in this sort of inner city part of York, with a sort of more of a warehouse feel, and it's just a fantastic setup, as you can probably see with some of the images we've shown on the camera so far. Was it difficult to get a start in York?
Yes and no. I mean, it was difficult to find a location that we wanted to use. There was we're new to brewing. Still new to brewing. We're 15 months old, but we're hopefully quite well established in York and Yorkshire at the moment. But still got a lot of work to do to get a bigger impact in the UK, which we're working on at the moment. We've got lots of distributors and wholesalers, and we get our beer to all the big cities. But there's lots and lots of breweries. So to have a big impact, you need to make interesting beers that people will taste and start telling their friends about. So hopefully,
going by the what do we call it? The radon sig tuna. I think you're absolutely on the money with making interesting beers for sure. And I know in my walks around the city in the last couple of days, I've had a few people tell me about Brew York, being that they know I'm interested in craft beer, and so the word of mouth around here is fantastic. So you're owning your own backyard, which looks like so. Any tips for newbies trying to get started in doing their own brewery?
3 things we went for. First one is trying to make sure you've got the best quality beer possible, so use the best ingredients, brew recipes that you'd want to drink. Second bit was get the location right. So we needed we wanted and felt we needed a city centre location, because loads of people love going on brewery tours, loads of people love coming to see breweries, but no one wants to get on a bus or get a taxi to the industrial estate in the middle of nowhere. They want to wander to a pub and then be told about it and then wander down to the brewery, which is what we've got, thankfully, which is great.
Nice.
And then the third thing we thought was really important was branding. So it doesn't matter how good your beer is, if no one sees it, picks it up and tries it, then no one will know. Get a bit of an beer mats, which is pretty interesting, and I'm sure at some point you'll probably film the mosaic on our back wall, which incorporates all the characters we do.
Yeah, I did. I grabbed that. Yeah, beautiful.
So it's every beer we do, they come up with some really cool concepts, and we give them a nod if we think they're in the right direction, and we work on that, because you catch people's attention.
Oh, look, I think you've nailed it. For me, I'm exactly the same. You know, great beer, quality beer, great location, somewhere you can call home. I think you just hit the nail on the head there, and obviously what you're doing here, I'm really impressed. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
What do you think the best thing is about the craft beer community in the UK?
Breweries are really open and friendly and approachable. We work together. It feels like it's us against the big boys. It's the big major breweries who have a 90% market share. We can work together with other breweries, and we help sell each other's beers, and anything we can do to eat into the bigger the major breweries' market share is a good thing.
Absolutely.
And also the people who come down here, we get such a range of customers. It can vary between male and female, pretty much equal mix. We get some older guys who like to come in and tick beers off. We get younger guys who've not really tried beer before, but they know that they've had some hoppy IPA recently that they thought was nice, and now they want to try and dip their feet into other random beer styles. And then we get your regulars who come in week in, week out. They're always buying the same beers, and they just love to support local businesses.
Yeah, nice. And what about the conversations? For me, the reason why I do all this stuff on video and spend so much time for zero money is just the conversations. It's just the craft beer industry just loves to talk about how great it is. It's just so inspiring.
Yeah, there's one of the things that I love is that, well, I brew for a living, which is cool, so I get to drink for a living. But we get to go to loads of beer festivals, we get to go to loads of Meet the Brewer events, and you're basically socialising with like-minded people.
Yeah.
So that's what your living is, which is great.
Yeah.
So beer festivals in particular, we absolutely love that. We've got some pretty cool ones in the UK, and they're just gaining in popularity. So you get street food vendors, get some live music, and then really cool and interesting beer styles to try out. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
It's alive and well, isn't it? It's
yeah.
really vibrant. It's great to see. So obviously we're drinking your beers here in collaboration with other brewers, but if you had one beer that you wanted to drink, what sort of stuff do you like to drink yourself?
I don't know why. Well, I don't know why because it's taste, but it seems to be strong. But it's double IPAs is my go-to beer style. Yeah. So there's one in particular in the UK, Magic Rock, across in Huddersfield.
Yes.
Awesome brewery, and their Human Cannonball is such a quality beer.
Nice.
And we're fortunate that one of the head guys of Magic Rock lives in York, so he pops into our tap room, and we pick his brains where we get the chance. And great opportunity to go across to their tap room and sample what new interesting beers they've got on every time we can. So and that's the type of welcoming environment you've got in craft brewing. These guys are one of the biggest in the UK now, and they're probably, I'm not sure how popular they are in Australia, but they certainly get around the rest of the world.
I definitely heard the name of them, but I hadn't seen any of their products because I come from a small island at the bottom of Australia, which doesn't get a lot of craft beer all the time. But I did pick up a couple of their cans when I was in London, I think it was, I grabbed them. So I've got a couple back at the hotel that when I can find a bar fridge, I'll chill them down instead of having to put them on ice to drink them.
It makes a change. But yeah, they've been really welcoming to us. They've helped us out on a couple of occasions where we've run out of kegs. They've got some extras, and we've been able to drive down and grab some help.
Beautiful thing is that's the craft beer community in itself, isn't it? Just sharing.
And put us in touch with our welder, who's a local welder and does great work. So
nice.
Just really, really good to have people like that who can help you where they can.
Fantastic. Now, I'm an Aussie and I'm used to drinking carbonated beers, but I've come over here and had a few cask beers. Describe to me, in your own words, the difference between the carbonation and the cask beers. They're very different sort of beer to drink.
Yeah, we do this a lot on the brewery tours we do, but because most of the UK beer drinking crowd are big fans of cask beer. And most of the new up and coming breweries tend to focus on keg, and obviously outside of the UK everyone does keg beer. Yep. So the biggest difference is temperature, dispense temperature, and carbonation. So put it simply, keg beer is colder and fizzier. Yeah. Reason being that cask beer goes into the final container, which is the cask, flat. So there's no carbonation at all in it. It's sealed, and the residual sugar and yeast carries on fermenting, and you get a nice natural carbonation. Yes. Carbon dioxide being the byproduct of fermentation. Yep. That has nowhere to go because it's in a sealed cask, and it slowly absorbs into the beer. So it's really, really nice, light, natural carbonation. So when the landlord gets the product, he taps it, vents it, which basically lets oxygen enter the cask to dispense the beer out of it. So the downside of that is you've got 4 or 5 days tops to drink that product before it spoils. Yep. So cask beer has to be drank fresh. Yep. Whereas keg beer, obviously, you'd be used to drinking it. It's colder, fizzier. So it's fizzier because it's force carbonated usually. So carbon dioxide is introduced manually, usually through a tank, and then carbonated to the desired volume. Yes. It's then usually served by the landlord through a flash chiller. So it drops the temperature down a couple more degrees, and in doing so, you get a nice, refreshing cold beer with a higher level of carbonation, which can be for UK drinkers is quite an interesting one because it's you get a mixed crowd. Some people love it, some people hate it. Yep. And the reason they tend to hate it is because of the bad job the major breweries did with it 30 years ago. So people in the UK tend to associate keg beer with the major breweries trying to make their product more readily available. Yep. Whereas thankfully people's eyes are opening now that keg isn't the right thing. Yep. It actually locks the flavour in. Gets you,
is there a difference in flavours between cask and keg?
Oh, definitely. We do. We take a lot of our products and we put them into. We put the same batch into cask and keg. Yep. Because the cask has to be vented, oxygen starts getting in. You do lose some of on the hoppy beers in particular, lose some of the flavour and aroma. but because it's served slightly warmer, you gain a lot of flavour because you can taste more when beer is warmer.
Yeah, yep.
But conversely, the keg beer, you're locking in the flavour. It's going from a sealed fermenter into a sealed keg and then straight into your glass. It's a first ever exposure to oxygen, so you've got loads of flavour and aroma, more than you would have had in a cask beer. But because it's served colder, you lose a little bit in your taste. Yep. So, but in my opinion, keg hoppy beers are amazing because you don't lose anything from it. Cask hoppy beers can be a bit hit and miss. If done well, they're very, very good. But you've got to get them fresh.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, as I always say in craft beer, fresh is best, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So look, I'll let you get back to doing what you're going to do, set up for the festival. But just a quick wrap up of where to from here for you guys.
Hopefully, a bigger market share of the UK. We want to get to some of the big UK craft beer festivals. We hopefully have got the entries sorted for Leeds International Beer Festival this year, which is held in September. And then on the back of that, we hope that'll make more and more fans aware of us. And then hopefully we'll get into the big ones in London, Manchester, and there's one up in Newcastle. That then puts us a bit more on the map. And then when you've got a Finnish beer under your belt, we'll try and look into export. We put all our beers into cans just because we find it really fresh. So it gives us a good opportunity to export.
And look, now of course that you've made a video with the beer healer, it's global for you now. Absolutely. Awesome. So, mate, I really appreciate your time today. Thanks very much, and best of luck for the future.
Thank you.
Good on you.
Enjoy.
Cheers. Craft beer industry. Have I told you lately how much I love you? What a sensational afternoon hanging out with Wayne, having a bit of a chat about craft beer and getting a bit of a tour around Brew York. These guys are doing a great job. I love what they're doing. I had some tasty beers with him. I've even been sent away with a takeaway 6-pack. So thanks very much to the guys for their time this afternoon, and keep sharing and spreading the word of the craft beer gospel. Until we talk again somewhere on the Beer Healer European vacation, all I got to say is cheers to great beers.